Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Claudine.
We're here today to talk about Israeli High Court's temporary injunction against the enforcement of FATCA.
That's right. We got some news, some good news.
Yes. Now, we've talked in extensive length about FATCA. It requires U.S. taxpayers to report certain foreign financial accounts and offshore assets. But the flip side of this that we're talking more and more about now, because it's an actual thing, is FATCA also requires all non-U.S. financial institutions globally, worldwide, to report the financial information of American clients and U.S. Green Card holders who have accounts holding more than $50,000. They have to report it directly to the IRS. And it's official because as of September 30th, all these financial institutions have to start reporting for 2015.
That's right.
So now it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. I never thought it would actually be enforced because I said, how is this actually going to be enforced? And certainly some of these countries out there would say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. So, of course, for a little bit of ballsiness in the world, we have to look to Israel.
Yeah.
All right? There it is.
You do have to be ballsy because now they're talking about penalties if you don't comply. You've got a 30% withholding tax on most U.S.-sourced income payments to that financial institution. So that's a big financial burden. And I say the unwritten penalty. There's a stigma now. Who wants to do business with a country that's not FATCA compliant?
I would. But it's only because I know FATCA is a piece of crap.
Yeah. Okay, now this is where the news happened. Days prior to this going into operation in Israel, Justice Hanan Meltzer ordered officials to stop work leading up to implementation. He's one of the judges in the Supreme Court of Israel. Israel.
He sounds like a heck of a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But you got to look to Israel for the badasses from time to time.
And speaking of that, I want you to take a look at a picture.
Okay.
This is the time I want you to look at a picture.
You emailed this to me. I have not looked at it yet.
Yeah, so you don't know.
Okay.
But we're going to show people watching the video and those who listen to audio only. It's a handsome young man wearing a uniform, a military uniform. It looks like an Air Force uniform with rosy cheeks and a winsome smile. And he is the father of someone very famous, not known as a military. The person who's famous is not known as a military. But he's had such battles with bullies who might have stolen his bicycle.
Pee-wee, I was going to say Pee-wee Herman, but I'm like, no way.
It is.
Oh my God, I had it.
It absolutely is. That's Milton Rubenfeld, who is the father of Pee-wee Herman. And he was one of the first members of the Israeli Air Force. And it's just amazing. I just love, I am a bit of a fanboy of Israel just because they have the balls. This little country that doesn't have huge natural resources, that says, no, we can do it if we all work together. And you know what? Let's try. Because they're going to kill us if we don't. So really, we have nothing to lose. So Milton Rubenfeld was one of the first members of the Israeli Air Force. And they had one of the most improbable victories over various invading forces. They were getting it from pretty much every side that had land, and they kicked the crap out of them and sent them packing.
Nice.
So that's really a great story. Great story of some true badassery. And see, this is, a lot of times this is all it takes. Stand up and fight. Just do it. And maybe we got something here. And here's little Israel, who is dependent on the U.S. for some of its foreign aid, shall we say, right? So Israel needs the U.S. as an ally, but say, guys, we're not going to do this.
Enough is enough.
So I think if you're another country, you know what, guys? You got a bigger military. You probably have a bigger military as Israel. Probably not as good, though. But you at least aren't so dependent on the U.S. So will you show some freaking balls?
Yeah.
Can you do what? Here we go. Israel's showing some real leadership. I'm refusing right now. Shouldn't talk too much until the smoke clears because maybe they'll have to backtrack a little bit.
Well, you know what? There's a great quote that I found from Nigel Green. He's the chief executive of the DeVere Group. They're an international financial advisory firm. He's been a very vocal critic of FATCA. He's got some really good content out there. He said that the Israeli High Court's temporary injunction should serve as a wake-up call for other countries to rethink enforcing this toxic, flawed, imperialistic legislation. And we'll put a link to his page as well, because he's got some good stuff on there. Now, the reason this all came up is the judge made this decision after Renat Schreiber, a dual citizen of the U.S. and Israel, filed a tort claiming that FATCA violated the nation's basic law on human dignity and liberty. He said it contradicts rights to privacy, property, and equal treatment. And I have to say, I agree.
Yeah, this is just amazing. I'm so happy that there's actually a positive development in FATCA implementation.
Yep.
And of course, there's a lot of dual U.S. citizens in Israel. I mean, a tremendous amount. We have quite a few clients in Israel or accounts in Israel. And this is really fantastic. And, it's every day. Other clients tell me another story. Hey, here's one. My IRA was forced to be liquidated because they didn't want to deal with someone with a foreign address anymore. So you're hit with a tax hit. You don't want to liquidate it, but they're not giving you any choice. And so this idea that you could be treated as a second-class citizen, even though you're a citizen of two countries. So it's sort of odd, and I just commend everyone involved here. And I hope...
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So the 15th, we'll put that on our calendar.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll have a positive update.
Even if they do have to backtrack, if it inspires another country, a bigger Britain or somebody like that to go.
Britain would be one.
This is a giant pain in the ass.
And I think Britain
costing us a lot.
It's costing a huge amount in Britain. And Britain really should be now saying, hey, guys, what are we doing here? They would really be the ones to take a look at what Israel's doing. You can say no.
Yep.
You can.
Yep. All right. Well, if you have any questions or concerns about offshore accounts, don't hesitate to contact us. We can help. info@IRSMedic.com, 888-727-8796. You can check out IRSMedic.com for more information. You can like and comment below. You can subscribe for more awesome tax updates. And thanks for watching. IRSMedic, the law offices of Parent LLP. Real tax attorneys for tough tax problems.